Tell him.
Come on, Anthony.
Hi. I'm Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
This is Cheyenne and Josh, my husband Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. How are
And that
you?
one's Anthony.
Hi, Anthony. How you doing?
Cheyenne, come on a little more so we can get in. It even smells old in here.
Yes, it does. So welcome to the Hale House. Do you live in the area or are you visiting?
Oh no, we live here.
Oh,
yeah, he's been
fantastic.
wanting to come here for years.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're really into South Kingston.
Look at that
history.
ceiling.
fantastic. All right.
We explore a lot of places, so this is perfect for us.
Got it.
Fabulous.
Wait.
I love
W
local history,
ceiling.
too. I grew up in Wakefield. Parents on my dad's side came because they were French Canadians and worked in
Pork.
And on my mom's side, they go back to the founding of Rhode Island. So love for local history.
Okay.
Okay. So the Hale House. It's called the Hale House, but I'll ask you later who you think it should be named after.
Okay.
So Edward Everett Hale. I don't know if you did any research on him at all.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's from
he's the
Boston.
history one.
Yep. Okay.
Me too.
So tell me what you.
As far as I know, he was a writer from Boston. Wrote that book, A Man Without a Country.
Yes, absolutely.
And this was his getaway. He didn't want to be mingling with all the rich people out there in the summer.
Yeah. It was kind of like his spot to be a recluse.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
some respects. It was his opportunity to write. It was an opportunity for him to bring all of his family together to write. The house was built in 1873. It was built by the Whedon family.
Yeah, I have a distant
A
relative.
distant relative, Art Whedon.
Okay.
Yeah, he lived on Route 1 a little further down.
Okay,
He
yes.
grew up with my grandfather. They were
Yeah, his
cousins.
grandparents' name is Hannon. I don't know if you know the name or not, but they're
Okay.
pretty.
Yes. So let's see. Mary Hammond.
Well,
Mary
my
Hannon
grandmother
was
was
his grandmother.
married.
She lived with us.
My grandfather was the guy that had no legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary Hammond Browning is the woman I'm thinking.
No,
of.
no.
Oh, it must be somebody else.
But definitely probably related.
Yeah, probably.
So, all right, come on in here.
Just don't go ahead of us, okay, Josh?
Okay.
So this is referred to as, I think it was the Red Room, not a reference to what we think of the Red Room today in horror movies. We know that the chimney really looked like this, the fireplace painted red with black lines because Susan Babcock wrote about it in her journal.
Oh, yeah.
And she wrote an extensive amount of letters, and they were preserved. And there's a fantastic book that you might be interested in. It's called Letters of Susan Babcock, and she talks all about her travels here. The collection is at the University of Rhode Island Special Collections, and so you can always go do further research there. This is a drawing that Susan did of herself sitting in front of the fireplace.
Oh.
People have come into the home and said that's not historically accurate, and we can verify that it is.
That's
I love the
cool.
little round
Look at the
curtain.
old clock.
Yes. So you're going to notice some things about the furniture in the room. Someone just like drove by like crazy. Did you see that?
No, I heard it.
Like
yeah,
up here?
yeah.
Yeah, I did hear it.
Super crazy. What I can tell you is this furniture here, which is heavy, bulky, kind of really stately,
Yeah.
this would not have been in the Hale house when they were here. This
Okay.
is that summer retreat. This is the airy.
Yeah, the beachy stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
This actually was owned by Hi.
Hi.
Couldn't call you, couldn't find the number, panicked.
Yeah, the police are on their way.
Oh,
Are you here alone?
no. I am.
Where's Karen?
She didn't come, and
Okay.
they arrived, so.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Hi.
I'll handle it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry about that.
Everything with the police?
Yes, I guess they're gonna come. I set off the alarm. It's the first time I ever been in the house on my own.
All right.
And you know what it's like when it starts to go off. You're
Yeah.
just truly like on
Yeah.
I gotcha.
time.
Just wanted to have an idea what we're stepping
Yeah.
into.
They're not coming for you
I hear
anymore.
police are coming, so.
All right. So back to this furniture doesn't really match.
Right.
It is accurate because the Whedons have this in the Providence home. And this is from a gentleman who owned a woolen mill in Providence. So he was an intellectual, had a lot of money, and he loved spending time with the Hale family. When they first started coming down from Boston, they would spend time at their home, which is right across the street. And the whole family would come. And they had a lot of kids, particularly quite a few boys.
Yeah.
So after a while, they really decided, why don't we go live somewhere else?
Yeah.
So I believe this land was owned by the Whedons, and they built the house. They owned the house, and the Hale family rented it from them. What ended up happening as time went on, in order to help pay the bill of renting it, they would rent out the rooms. And it left
So it was
family
kind
and
of
friends.
pattern.
A little bit, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I saw something briefly on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. There was like a quote from the original one saying like 100 years prior to him being here as a tavern.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure.
I'm gonna ask them this
What's that
today.
sound?
I only started a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know.
Yeah,
if
no,
it's
that's-
private. I do know that it was privately owned after the Whedons sold it.
Yeah.
And one of the families that lived here and owned it were a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
And he painted the flag next to the
Oh, he noticed that as soon as we walked in, Josh
Okay,
did.
yeah, okay. Fantastic.
Am I allowed to touch these to look at them?
Yeah, I would touch them by the corners just
Yeah.
like you're doing.
Oh,
And,
Yeah, they have pictures on them.
What are the pictures of?
Is it the pond? Look at them on the canoe.
Artwork.
Yeah.
Susan.
No, like keep
Hang on.
Is very valuable. So these are all
Yeah.
They're all spread out now, so you don't have to touch
She
them.
really did come,
Just look
and
at
it
them.
was available for the weather, because this is a wood, heated.
Oh, yeah.
She would come down and open the house up, and then the Hale family, her brother, and the kids would all come down. Her sister-in-law did come down a couple of times.
Yeah.
However, she just didn't really take to this type of vacationing.
Wasn't her lifestyle.
It was not.
Yeah.
So Susan Babcock was the one. She never married. She traveled extensively. She studied in Paris as well as other places to do watercolors, and then she went on to teach lessons. So she was really gifted, educated, and was able to make some income teaching others.
That's pretty neat.
So over here is the family tree.
I'll see him on the way out. I'll check him out.
So Edward Everett Hale is the kind of the name that everyone associates it with.
Yeah.
Emily, the wife, she was part of the Beecher Stowe connection. Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
so these are two families that are educated, literaries, publish a great deal, and
Yeah.
are really kind of, privileged in a lot of respects. Their children, Nellie, Arthur, Edward, Everett, often goes by Jack, which is unusual because Jack is usually short for John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jack,
yeah.
my oldest, is Jack.
Right.
So Phoebe, Herbert, Robert Beverly, as you know, Beverly had a library next door.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
That
okay.
was built in his honor when he passed away.
All right.
And Alex, Charles, and Henry were three sons that died at different times after they were born. So here's Edward's siblings, and it's Susan, the youngest, that becomes the caretaker of the home and really the caretaker of the children during the summer. So he's coming down. He's going to write, he's going to spend some time, he's not going to want to leave, but he still has quite a few speaking engagements and other obligations.
Right.
He's a minister, so he's at the beck and call of his congregation.
Oh, okay.
So Susan is left manning the house with the kids. All the doors are open, they would often go out, trek around the woods because she loves doing watercolors, particularly of laurels and foliage. So, that's a little bit of fun. Let's go ahead and hear.
All right.
Father.
really heavy buffet here.
Second
Only one
fireplace.
of these during that time period, but not really a piece of furniture that would have been here. This is more of a formal dining room, but really they weren't here for the formality of things. They were here to socialize, have down quiet time, and just be in nature. You'll notice that we have some lights overall. There really wasn't any.
I didn't even think of that until we walked in, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so dark in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You don't realize that
Really,
really.
you're noticing my super large windows. Each room has a piazza, I guess it is, on the outside, and each room had a door to go out on them. They would always be open. Susan was known for sitting on the porch and eat her lunch.
Yeah.
And there's a local legend that someone called her crazy because there was this woman eating outside. And
Oh,
no one
really?
ate outside,
Oh,
at
wow.
least in that
there.
social class,
What?
because they would go for
The
picnics,
wood
Yeah.
stove.
but they wouldn't just sit
Sit
outside.
on the porch, yeah.
So you'll notice that this right here
It's
is
okay. It's fine.
the butler's pantry. It's a little redesigned because they ended up putting a bathroom in.
Oh, they got the little.
Yeah, a little pass through. Isn't that so cool?
Cool.
Now, Susan really is doing most of the cooking for the family.
Yeah.
She did run up the hill and have some people come down and cook for when they had a larger group of friends coming back from Boston. So
Yeah.
they did some entertaining, but it's still going to be not at the aggressive level of the Boston Society.
Right, right.
So any questions so far? No?
No, not yet.
No? No? Okay. I believe this is obviously a reproduction, but this is an example of a painting by, I believe this is, it's one of the sons, and it's either Robert Beverly or Edward or Jack. I believe it's Jack. No, it's not at this location, and we
Okay.
do not know the name of the woman.
Just pretty much show your talents.
Yep, just showing how, I mean, this is a family, again, with an education, so if they have the opportunity to partake in their leisure,
Yeah.
but they take it very seriously and they get educated in it.
Right.
So, quite an opportunity.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead back here.
All right.
What's that?
I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
Alright, so,
I did.
here's the kitchen.
Well,
Is that here's the kitchen?
yeah, he noticed the wood stove right away.
Yep, what do you notice about the kitchen?
Hmm.
It's real different.
So you've
No
got
Fred,
the water.
right?
Water pump.
Yeah, so you mentioned that. I'm wondering where the ice, oh, this is the ice box.
Okay.
Oh.
So you're gonna get ice, which is usually harvested from a pond. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't from this pond, it would have been many other ponds where they would harvest the ice using horses, sleighs, actual sign,
Yeah.
like pure ice if you've ever been
Yeah,
there
yeah.
before. They would come, they would deliver it, they would put it in the ice box. There's would be a drip pan at the bottom,
Yeah.
and that would allow them to keep stuff in the summer cold. Susan would stay here until she could not bear it anymore as far as the cold weather was concerned. And
Oh, yeah.
as she aged, she would stay longer and longer. She used to summer and travel to Paris and England and that type of thing. But as she got older and she started taking over the home, she would switch. She would spend all summer here and then she would travel in I guess the summer's off season, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, no refrigerator.
Yeah.
No electricity. We do have a wood stove. And you're gonna have, we've been talking about this, the way they would get hot water,
Yeah.
because you notice that there's two spigots here,
Yep.
it would actually go through the water pipe would go through, get heated, and then available.
Oh, wow.
So that's very
That's
cool.
high tech, huh?
Yeah, it really is. It's clever thinking.
Are these their irons here?
Yeah, that would be an iron that you're going to heat up. Maybe make a grilled cheese too.
Yeah.
So when you go to college, remember
Yeah.
your clothes iron can grill a sandwich. So again, they're going to have their meals here, outside, and local farmers would come up and she would buy the produce right from them.
Wow.
So very, very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, you've got a sink over there, you've got the sink over here. I'm trying to think of any other things that are really interesting about this house. Obviously, we did end up coming back in here.
Oh, yeah.
And they have the plumbing.
Right, yeah.
And then underneath, we have a pump house for the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's all we want. It's a staircase. So we're gonna go this way. Okay. Long that window is.
Yeah.
This home is actually designed that way so it can actually be a door. So.
Oh, wow.
Very cool, right?
That's cool. Yeah.
So I'd like to introduce you to Everett Hale.
That's him, huh?
He is a minister and he is charismatic. And he's married, and he has a long time love affair with a woman about 20 years younger than him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this obviously didn't become public. I think it was known within their really close friends. And he would send letters back and forth to this woman.
Oh, really?
And they were actually in code in certain parts that they didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
And she would help as his secretary. They would meet up usually on Tuesdays to work on business, call on people, write. She actually contributed a great deal to a lot of his writings. And her father was Edward's best friend.
Huh. Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's funny how it all comes together.
It does always come together, doesn't it?
Wow.
There's a picture here, and that's Edward with his sister Susan. So Susan is much younger than him.
Yeah.
I think there's like a 10-year difference. So that's one of the reasons why she was able to be so helpful. Her other sister, Lucretia, never married either.
Okay.
And in the book, Susan Babcock's, Susan Hale's letters, she sends quite a few messages back and forth to Lucretia. So it's interesting.
What's the story with the bird up there?
I
Is
don't
there a
know.
story?
Not that I know of. I'm thinking that's an osprey.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And you know that the osprey was almost the state bird. Yeah, so in 1874, the Rhode Island red chicken was born. It was actually invented, and in 1954,
Didn't even notice that.
the state asked people to vote for the state bird. Number 3 most popular state bird choice was the red-throated hummingbird.
Oh.
Number 2 was the osprey. And number 1 was a Rhode Island red chicken. One of those reasons being that the University of Rhode Island was a land-grant school, and there was a professor there, and he really campaigned for the Rhode Island red.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. That's all they did at URI in the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning, absolutely. And that was started in 1892.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Look
is
at that
a very
ceiling.
cool book of Everett's, and it's poems, and it's actually shaped like a boat.
Huh, wow.
And that actually is the real book.
Oh.
This is the book he's most famous, known for. And there's some other readers
cool.
there. There's
At this room?
Letters of Susan Hale.
It looks like it's this room. I don't know.
So it is, and
Wow.
I believe that one is in Boston, because when he set up the office down here, he drew a diagram to explain exactly how he wanted the room set up,
Yeah.
and it was exactly like the place in Boston.
Wow.
So I guess he was a little particular in that
Yeah.
sense. This would be the place that he would be spending hours on end writing. And this would be the room that they would bring people in to entertain and visit.
There's the pocket doors. Maybe
Oh,
in our
really?
house.
Oh, do you?
But they don't have knobs on them, yeah.
So this was like his show off.
Look at this map.
This is where you're going to meet, you're going to socialize. The red room was the room that Susan wanted to teach the children how to draw. This is an exhibit that will give you a few minutes to look at it. It's about transportation.
Okay.
In the late 1800s. And these are all, for the most part, local pictures. And you've got rail
Take a picture of that.
transportation through steam.
Yeah.
You have trolleys, and motor vehicles.
Right.
And you also even have someone by foot.
Wow.
This gentleman was known for walking around town without any shoes on, and that's how we have places.
I wonder if that's the Biscuit City guy.
No, that's something different. There was a lot of stories in a book, I think, The Hills of Matunuck.
Okay.
And they have like little short stories from like the late 1800s,
Yeah.
1870s kind of era.
Okay.
Just tells like little legends and stories.
Yeah, The Hills of Matunuck.
Yeah.
I don't know it, and I definitely remember that.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then over here, you've got transportation by carriage. And that's how also the produce would get there. The milkman would arrive in the carriage. So would the postman. And
Yeah.
the postman there, he actually became blind in older age. And it's reported that he still works as a postman.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that patrons will come out
Get here and come and
probably, yep, go get their mail.
They have a nice little system.
This is a physician in town, and let's see. This is I guess you could call it a party wagon, because it actually does look like they're all heading to a party, and they're leaving from the Kingston train station. So that's how they're going to get down to the beach resorts.
Yeah, it's right down there. That's right.
So I'll let you guys poke around with your questions, let me know.
All right.
And we can go upstairs.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never look at the table when you're in.
Rolling Hazard. Hey, Anthony, it's Rolling Hazard. He's the one that made all the monuments and stuff in town. This is on Main Street.
And there's one on Railroad Street, too.
Lumber yard in the background. Yeah.
Oh, that's Arnold Lumber. I recognize that.
You probably believe it, unless it's in the
These pictures are here at this house.
Are there two staircases?
They both go upstairs, but there's one from the kitchen, like, carrying food up, I think.
There's stories about the barefoot guy in that book I was talking about. I just don't remember what one of the stories were.
That's a little bicycle in the hallway. There's a bike in the hallway.
I saw that.
That's cool.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite picture?
Yeah, so far. And you can change your mind 5 times. So
Probably that train right there.
this one.
Yeah.
And do you see the initials on there on the side of it? Because I'm looking for clues to figure out about that train. What can you tell me?
Can you read the letters from down here?
Yeah.
What are they?
Well, it says Wakefield on the
Yeah.
side.
Exactly. So it's going to be the Wakefield branch. And when they say branch, they mean the train tracks are coming down and they branch off. And I don't know if you know, in town, Wakefield, there's a store called Arnold Lumber.
Yeah, it's like kind of
Yeah.
across from Brickley's.
And it used to be called the Wakefield branch. And that's truly what it was. That was the branch that would take the train to there and deliver things that were coming off of the train. And then you see NPRR. Do you know what that might stand for?
No.
Do you?
Narragansett Pier Railroad. So it was all about those steamships. And here they are over here. The steamships truly were the highway on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And they were by far faster and easier, and the railroads came afterwards because they still had to lay down all of those tracks.
Right.
This is an example of the Fall River Line, the Rhode Island. And when we call it the Fall River Line, it actually went all the way from Massachusetts down to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So it wasn't just those. They say you would look out from the Narragansett Pier and you could see 100 ships in a day go by.
Wow.
In the 1870s, 1880s.
Yeah, it was really big at that time.
This, they think, is a picture at Lock Island. We're not really sure. But also, obviously, a summer destination.
Yeah.
During that time period, it's all about Newport. It's all about Narragansett casinos.
Yeah.
It's about Watch Hill. And Matunuck at that time period really was that quiet spot. It wasn't about flashy money.
Right.
As you would get in Newport.
Yeah.
And then Narragansett at one point really was almost on par as far as the people it attracted, not necessarily the wealth of the homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you know Stedman's Bicycle Shop, this is the owner that started it all. And this is when they started the business. Because again, bikes had to be invented, right, and become popular. And they were in a garage at that point before they opened up the actual store, which I believe has always been there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, his grandpa said that he's been, doing Hill forever. But he remembered them always being there.
Oh, yeah.
So the other key component that brought in money to the area was carriage making. And this is one of the renowned carriage maker. It was the
$35. Wow.
1899.
And so that's the Armstrong family.
Is this in Wheatfield? Intersection of Main and River?
Yeah, the building is.
So is that where the apothecary was? Is River Street, is that one there?
I think that is.
That's
Yeah.
the same format at the front.
Which then became the Saab dealership.
Yeah, my friend Christina owns the Green Line apothecary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So yes, that is.
Oh,
And I love the bowler hats and the mustaches.
Yeah.
Mustaches are back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, huh?
So if you'd like to go upstairs, we can.
Josh, bring him upstairs, okay?
Okay. Look at the bike.
I know, it's cool.
Yeah. And they used as many details as they could from Susan's journal.
Oh, I love this rail.
Wow, let's get the third floor.
Yeah, I didn't know I had a third floor.
I saw that. Cheyenne, look, the horse.
So this is the exhibit they had last year.
Oh, okay.
And it was all about how they would entertain and what they would do during the summer. It was about getting outside. It's about being in nature.
Yeah.
Going to the beach, swimming in the pond.
Yeah, picnic's over here. Oh, she's shooting up there?
And the only picture of Everett and his longtime girlfriend was in the pond back here. And he actually does write a really interesting letter. It's in the book Coded Letters.
Yeah.
I can't wait to, or I remember you swimming among
Oh,
the
we
water
were
lilies.
coded then?
No, there's an author, she was an archivist, I believe, or a librarian down at the Library of Congress, I believe, or the National Archives, and she found all the letters, and she was the one who figured out the code. So Edward actually taught her this code, which was basically a shorthand that had fallen out of fashion.
Yeah.
So most people couldn't remember how to do that.
Wow. That's cool.
This is probably down Succotash Road. Oh,
Yeah?
The town beach, that's a different
That's
access.
Narragansett all the way down. Look, it's like
It says,
all the way down.
Cheyenne, wanna jump?
No.
Yeah.
The town beach is like trips.
I know, I love
That's pretty
those.
darn cool.
I always try to picture it in my mind. I say, they only go all the way from here down to the
You
beach.
should picture the map today, because it's been
And just think about being in this house and how the hell the type of breeze
Yeah.
that we've gotten.
Oh, I
Even on
know.
dreary days.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a cool spot to be.
It is. Wow. That's cool, huh?
So,